We finally today got an answer to the question that I think a lot of Colorado fans are asking as you go into week 2 against the Corn. And the question is this team embracing the hate of Nebraska? Is this team understanding the rivalry? Do they get what this means?
I think so. Coach Prime said it's personal. Shedeur said he's going to take the red shirt off of his site. I think that, obviously a lot of turnover this offseason, but these guys have really come in, and I think they've learned exactly what CU is about, not just Nebraska, but a lot of things, and we're starting to see that just flesh out this week.
Yeah, and this isn't a surprise because if there's anything we've learned about this team, this coach, Shedeur, it's that they get it. Yep. Shedeur gets it, and so he sat up there and said, at Colorado, we don't like Nebraska, simple as that. I heard him in another interview afterwards use the word hate. We hate Nebraska. He said he took the red out of his closet. He took the red off of his store. This team gets it. They're embracing it. And last week we heard on the Pat McAfee show that Shedeur had a little bit of extra motivation because of the way Kendall Briles treated him at a camp. Well, we saw what happens when Shedeur has a little bit of extra motivation. And he said today, this is that little extra motivation. It's just a little bit to get you over the top. It's just the next game, but each game kind of has a story around it. This one it's the rivalry, and they're embracing it.
Absolutely, and because it's the rivalry, Nebraska and their fans are confident. They think they can come in here and actually win this game. We're going to find out for sure on Saturday. It doesn't sound like, or I don't think so, that they'll be able to do anything that impactful in terms of winning this game, honestly.
Yeah, we talked to a couple players, a couple people around the program. They all feel like everyone is leaning in. It's red, it's Nebraska week, it's hate week. It's time to turn up, and I think that this team really understands it. Anything else from Coach Prime, Shedeur's presser that stood out to you?
I mean, Shedeur talked about getting that text from Tom Brady, kind of keeping the motivation up after TCU. Don't settle, I think is what he said. Coach Prime did say, though, Miles Slusher probably not going to play this week. It does feel like they are really going to try and work.
Hold on. He said Miles Slusher is not going to play this week. If he has to have a little work done to get ready for the run,
yes,
then I want him to do that because we're going to make a run.
Exactly. And just, I don't know, man. It feels like they really aren't satisfied with their performance, even with how good it was on Saturday. They're determined to work on the run game. They're determined to, Shedeur's determined to hit all his reads, not just 75% of them or whatever.
80.
Hitting. Yeah. So I think that we're going to see an even improved offense this weekend.
Yeah, I love Shedeur's reaction to how did you feel your performance was. He said, it was all right. It was cool.
Yep.
That's it. And I believe that from him because I think with the way that he prepares and the work that he puts in, he expects to be perfect. He really expects to be perfect. And I love someone quote tweeted me on Twitter and said this. Obviously, we know about Shedeur's physical ability, but he said, this guy's mentors are Deion Sanders and Tom Brady. How could he not be great? And when you think of it that way, you really start to understand, his work ethic. I think that he has all of this within him, but when you have those caliber of people pushing you forward, it's impossible to be stopped.
Well, he also talked about blocking out the noise, too. He mentioned he's not on social. He doesn't really watch TV, watch SportsCenter, any of that. He goes home, puts on football games, watches film. I mean, this guy is so dedicated to his craft, so dedicated to being the best quarterback, best teammate he can be. And it already showed in week 1. I can't wait to see what else he can do this season.
The other question that I think Buffs fans have is this team going to be a little too high on their own supply? Are they going to be reading the clippings? Are they going to be a little too full of themselves? And I personally wasn't worried about that, but I think today, again, you heard a lot of answers that will quell your concerns about something like that. This team is not worried about last week anymore. And I love that Coach Prime said, I want those guys to read their clippings. You balled out, but know that not everything they say about you is true one way or the other. This team is not a team that goes and wins, and this coach is not a coach that goes and wins one game and turns around and lets down and lets it slack a little bit. That's not happening.
Exactly. This has been the mentality since Coach Prime got here, though. The spotlight's going to be on us, but we still got to perform. The spotlight is going to, blow you up and give you all this notoriety, but it also exposes your blemishes as well. And I think this is what I was trying to say about, this week in this game in particular. Coming off that win against TCU, now you have an opponent who is your hated rival, really determined to beat you. If that's not enough motivation to be ready for this game and kind of put last week's game behind you, I don't know what is.
We're motivated. I can tell you that. We'll be ready, and I think the team will be ready on Saturday as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like on the way out. We'll see you on the pod.